Before. Good morning, everybody. It is one day away from the Christmas promo being over. I would make it 5 o'clock Central Time tomorrow that you get your gift cards in if you want to buy any gift cards. Probably your safest bet on getting them in on time is using cryptocurrency. And so if you need any help coming towards the end of this week, towards the holidays with buying cryptocurrency or doing anything like that to get things done on time, please let us know. But after tomorrow, you won't be able to buy gift cards any longer. So that promo will be said, done, and over. And then we did get a few answers last night on the Ranger call for some of the things that Bobby talked about, but really, we didn't get full answers. So I don't know. Maybe some of the other Rangers would tell me any differently or say any differently. But we didn't get full clarity on everything. But here's as simple as I'm gonna start keeping it, because everything else is just trying to fit something into the box, right? So we got a round hole here that's been presented to us, and we're trying to fit square things into it over and over again over the last 2 days since Bobby talked on Tuesday. And so I want to make it really simple for everybody if we keep it just like this. And I hope that you're all having as beautiful of a morning as I am. It's 7:05 on 12/18/2025. We got one more day in the promo, and here it is. Here's how to put everything in that round circle instead of trying to fit a square into the round circle. Are you ready? If you need, every single person needs to get on their genealogy, get on their back office and look back to October 9th and beyond. If you have not, if you're wanting to share this program and keep all privileges, okay, so all privileges would be basically the BOGO, because that would be the main thing that would be lost. But the other things that could be lost is just getting paid in general. So these two things, what you would do is if we do this, you go and look back on October 9th and look back at the last time that you sponsored somebody. And the last time that you sponsored somebody, you want to mark that date, okay? That you personally sponsored somebody. You want to mark that date, okay? But if it's all the way back to October 9th and you haven't sponsored somebody, you have until January 9th to sponsor somebody to keep all of the privileges of since the date that you've came in. So simply said is if not before January 9th, need to sponsor somebody. And then every 90 days thereafter, you need to have a personal sponsor made in order to stay in full compliance of the comp plan. Okay, that's as simple as I can bring it to you. There, you can ask questions afterwards or offline, and all of the Rangers will do their best to try to ask at the end on this to clarify. But if we wanted to just take a round circle and put it in a round circle and just kind of get to the nitty gritties of it, is get back to October 9th, see where your last sponsorship is, mark that date, because from that date, let's say that I sponsor somebody December 1st. Okay, from December 1st on, I'm going to make sure that I have another sponsorship in the next 90 days after that. Okay, but starting January 9th is the cutoff for the new ruling. And why is that? Okay, there's so many reasons why that we covered most of it yesterday. But the bottom line is that we want people adding to the rocket ship and participating in the rocket ship if they are getting paid. Okay, and so we now have put and implemented the simple rule of at least one sponsorship every 90 days. That would be the simplest way to put it this morning because we covered it for an hour yesterday. So let me do that for now. Text me or call me or text your ranger for any more detailed on that. Or at the end here, save your question and we'll ask it. I also say as we get our teacher on here in a minute that we try to hold questions until he asks for them or whatnot. And I will open chat up here in just a second. Well, let me go ahead and do that real quick right now. But let him get through his information before we're because here's what happens 90% of the time is we're paying attention to the chat or we're asking a question that the presenter is going to cover in the next 30 minutes. I mean, that's good. He's going to cover it probably the next thing that he says. Because if that question comes to your mind, the presenter knows 90% of the time what you need to know. And so that question's usually going to be answered. And so a few of these we've had people just jumping on and answer because we keep it open and keep the chat open, jumping on and asking those questions. Well, it's okay, to do that. I'm just saying, if you can hold your questions till he asks for them, then that's would be more than awesome. Just a little bit of protocol and etiquette that might help everything to run a little bit smoother. And sometimes, man, our momentum gets broken. And I know if you break my momentum, it's not, I'm not that smart of a guy. So it's not that easy for me to get back to it, right? So, anyways, we are so grateful that each and every one of you are on here. I hope that you have your computers and your phones ready. I hope that you have your pad and paper ready. I know that I got mine. And without further ado, we've heard from him once this week. We're hearing from him again, and it won't be the last time. Let's all send some hearts up or some hellos to Mr. Lonny Walsh. Lonny, take it away, sir.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Great this morning.
Yeah. I'm gonna hop on and throw my screen share on and make sure everybody can see that. Yeah,
We got you.
cool. Well, I'll try to make sure I go slow and detailed to make sure I can address all the questions I can think of since you set me up on that one. But the hot topic is, how do we kind of help build as a community? How do we help build the liquidity and support of the price? Because solely relying on the liquidity coming from the mine sales and that little earmarks part of 10% or whatever, is kind of hard to bolster on its own. And so, and especially as the price kind of has fallen down in the last month or so, the best way to accumulate more is mining and then also being able to buy some. So it's not financial advice. I'm not guaranteeing you that we're going to all get rich by buying, but this is a good tool for people to have to be able to get more coins whenever they have funds available to build up their holding and stuff for when the rocket really does take off. Pionex is one that is both international and US friendly. There's Pionex.com for the international people. Pionex.us is the US version. It is, since it is even one, well, TXC is on a lot of smaller exchanges, so it's one of the ones that the you can deposit directly to, but there's been some people who have said that there's some longer holds going that route, and that's just something to kind of be mindful of. The debit card is instant because that's just making a transaction. There's just that 3% fee or so on it. When you deposit the other through your account or through a transfer, there could be some holds. So if you have something already set up like Coinbase or Robinhood or somebody that can let you get USDC quicker because they have a bigger banking system, still utilize that and then just transfer your USDC in or whatever. But if you end up with USD or USDT or USDC or whatever, the nice part is you come over here under the trade tab, you can come down to instant convert and turn whatever you have, whether it be the USD or USDT or USDC into whatever you need to use. And for Pionex, it's paired with TXC on USDT. So just make sure whatever you have converted, for whether it's your dollars USD or if it's USDC that you transferred in, make sure you convert it to USDT first before you jump over and are either trading or starting your bot. Um, so the bots are essentially the same kind of tool that market makers are using, and then even in like the stocks and equity world, it's very similar to what institutions are using to do these high frequency trades and to get action so that they don't have to sit at a computer and manually enter a bunch of trades as the price is moving. And so that's nice by getting a lot of volume built in and stability in the price uh, for people. So they have these AI strategies that they use Chat GPT, which basically takes the chart and looks at the price for the last 7 days or the last 30 days and will recommend you a setup to use that should be profitable in that. And then based on those parameters over that time, this shows how much um, how much that grid would have made on a yearly basis if that pattern continued. So that's what the back test and the APY suggestions are. Um, the easiest way to get started on one is just doing a grid bot. And the grids are basically these. These are your on the order book. These are sell orders and these are the buy orders. So when you're doing a grid, you're essentially setting up multiple buys and multiple sells at the same time. So when you go here and you hit create, it's going to immediately default to a copy strategy, and you'll just click that if you want to, and it'll just copy one of the AI suggested ones if you're on this to go through. With the AI ones, based on the pattern that TXC has been following the last 30 days, its parameters that it's suggesting are using 104 grids. So it's wanting you to space your orders over a lot because in this price action where you go up and down, a high frequency grid would be very active and is also very safe to where you don't it's not susceptible to getting the big moves and stuff or getting stuck. I'm to say, whereas like one that is set up with less grids isn't like dangerous, but on a bigger move, it takes a bigger move to fill the order, so it'll be idle a lot more. So because the bigger moves are few and far in between, the AI looks at this and says, "Hey, you should do a lot of grids and spread it out over time." If you look at the ones that I have running, I did some changing on mine yesterday to look more aesthetically pleasing because I'm just weird like that, and I'm running 3 right now. I'm running one with 11 grids. That the lower amount will capture big moves. So like when the price jumps 10% in a short burst, I'm going to capture all those big 10% moves with this one. This one will be a higher profit per trade. Then 22 grids. This one's kind of a hybrid in the middle. And then I'm running a 44 grid. I just haven't ran one over the bigger amount over the 50 and 100. AI suggests it, and when I was running, I had an 88 and I had a 100 grid, and they do a lot of trades. So it just depends on how much funds you want to have allocated into it. Um, because the more grids that you use, the more funds are going to be required to start it. So when we're just going to go back into starting one. I personally like doing the customized one just because I want to have the control over it. So you're setting your lower limit first, and these limits are not like profit taking points or stop losses. You'd actually set that up in the advanced setting, so it's less complicated than that. The lower limit and the upper limit are just pause points. So if something was to happen like last week where the price erratically dropped on a quick candle and it just wicked down to 70 cents, if you had a lower limit, it would pause. It would just stop whatever it had. If it was holding TXC and holding USDT, it would just pause the trading until the price came back and you said, okay, go ahead. Upper limit, the same thing. If the price was moving up, you think that you'd want the bot to be active throughout and trading as high as it'll go. But if it was on a breakout type move or a sudden burst where it ran up to 5 and then came back down to 3, your bot would be stuck holding some in the $5, and it won't be able to use those in the normal price range. So when you establish a kind of a price range that you want it to operate in, and as you'll see on like the copy strategy, if you look at the 30-day one on the parameters, it says the range to use would be $1.50 to 286 is the current range. Just kind of knowing TXC from following it and stuff, I would have a higher upper because the move will break out of that 280 quickly once things starts going on the upside. So for me, I like doing repeating numbers. It's just a habit. So my lower limit is 111, and then the upper limit, because we've already broken into the five, I'm comfortable for it going into the five. I know that TXE will trade and range bound between that. If it goes over six, we haven't been over six in a pattern of establishment where there's been enough transactions for me to be comfortable with the bot trading. So I would make my absolute max be six. In the fives or fours is where we probably are going to be in the next round. Um, and you might want to change your parameters is basically why you would pause it if you don't think that the parameters were correct, or if you want to reallocate the funds or do a different amount. So anywhere from 4 to 6 is where I would set the upper limit. And then this also will kind of affect how much funds is required to start it. If you have a really wide range and a lot of grids, you're going to need to bring in more USDT to start. Just to do a $1.10 to 444 to start. And then when you come in here, the grids, if you look at it, if you do just 10 grids, you only need $25 to start. 25, 23 is all you need to start. That won't make huge moves. Each grid is going to look to make about 8% profit, and the top end on the top of the grid will make 33% on a trade if there was a big erratic move up. And then you can see as you add more grids, it takes more of an initial amount to start when you want to fund the bot. When you go up to 50 grids, it's $113 to start. And then when you go all the way up to 100 grids, like the AI was suggesting, it needs at least $223 to start. um, Personal suggestion, I like running at least two or three just to capture a different variety of the moves. I want to be able to capture the big moves. I want to be able to capture the consistency and everything in between, and building. So there's that. But let's start one that is excuse me, that is suggested based on the AI. I'm going to do one for 225 because AI told me to, and we hit create. When it brings up the parameter confirmation, it's just telling you what you did, and it shows everything to verify. As it starts, the initial rollout is going to be 75% holding TXC, 24% holding USDT in case the price comes down a little bit so it can buy more. If you want to just double check, say you made a mistake, just cancel out. If you are somebody who's wanting to set up more of an advanced bot, the trigger price is if you're trying to set it for a pullback that you want to wait for the price to start, or if you want it to start on a top end, like if you want to say, hey, I want this bot to operate from $1 to $2 and this bot to operate from $2 to $4, you could get crazy and elaborate and do that. If you want to make sure that your bot takes profit when it breaks out of the top end of the price and closes everything, set your take profit in this expanded side, set your take profit for that top end if you wanted to close out with it at completion. And then it'll tell you the current price is here, your estimated profits, you'll make at least $98 if it moves there. That's if it moves there directly. If it was to move there pretty straight, it's estimating that you'll make about 97 to, probably $100. But if it goes up and down in between, you're likely going to make more because the bot is actively trading and accumulating more coins for you along the way. So we could set a profit like that to close out with the top end. Everything else you leave. No need to touch anything else. The stop loss, I would not set that up on, because one large wick and you will contribute to that selling pressure. And your bot will close at a loss. So I would avoid the stop loss for now. If you want to set the take profit to close out at the top, you can, or you can leave it and just kind of make sure that your take profit is around your upper limit range, and then you just hit create and go. And you see that it starts out at zero, then it goes down into a little bit of a negative. The price has to go up for these bots. These bots cannot create orders if there's not other orders available. They're not magicians. They're just placing the orders for you so that there's consistent activity. It doesn't make somebody buy the order and fill it automatically. There still has to be either another bot or another person placing the order to create that transaction, but the transactions are going to be consistently placed and built to to be there when you're not watching, so you're not glued to your phone or not glued to your computer, um, and in there. But I moved these around yesterday, so if you were watching Pinex and you saw the price dropping and moving all around, um, I saw this. There was a big, large wick, and I was like, "Oh, somebody's trying to create some selling pressure." And I uh, I answered by creating a lot of volume to push the price back up and over where they started selling. So take that, sucker. But anybody have any questions or specifics that they want me to touch on, or if I need to go back and go slower, shoot them and I'll answer them.
Hey, Lonnie, this is Mark.
Oh, hey, somebody's got their hand
Go
raised.
ahead,
Go ahead,
Mark.
Mark.
Question: when you do two or three of them,
Hmm.
do you keep them all at the same lower and upper limits, or do you what's the variation?
Yeah, all mine are the same. Um, probably a positive. Mine are all 111 to 555 is how I have mine all set up, and operating. Uh, you probably would want to have a little bit of a variation. Your smaller grid, since you're looking for the bigger swing or bigger jumps on those, that would be one that you would probably, if you're trying to operate the most for the most profit, that one would be your top, your highest. If you can even do that as an exploratory price, especially if you have it set to take profit at the top of it. So like knowing that the next goal after the 530 was 745. If you set your take profit at 750 or 740 and set your top end at 740 on a smaller grid, you'll be able to take profit and capture that because there's not as many orders to fill. Because when you get into that exploratory price, there's not going to be a lot of transactions that hit. So if you had like 100 grids trying to close in that exploratory price, it would be difficult. But if you're doing a smaller, somewhere between 10 and 20 grids, and you wanted to set that up in that exploratory price and have to take profit in that 740 or 750 based on the paths that we've seen as benchmarks, that would be a good strategy.
Okay, thank you.
I think, yeah, I think Phyllis had her hand raised earlier. I don't know if that was the same question or if she's got another one.
No, I have another one. I was following along and setting up my bot as I was watching you, and I
Oh, nice.
and I started it before you talked about changing parameters. So
Oh, okay. So if you want to edit it, you can. Let me come back to here. So if you're on your computer, it'll show up on the bottom when you have the bot selected. On your
I'm
phone, you just go onto the bot tab, and it should show your ones that you have running, and you'll
mhm,
just hit detail, and it'll bring it up, and you can share it, and you can send a link to tell everybody how much money you're making. You can
mhm.
add money into it if you want to contribute to a larger fund pile for it. But when you hit up more, you have so when you automatically these will automatically default to right here where they don't reinvest the profits automatically when you set up a new one. This is set up so like on this part right here. I'm sorry for bouncing back and forth, but as it trades, they're defaulting to build up the USDT pile. And as they make profit per trade, a lot of them are making, whatever the grid is between 50 cents and $1 per trade, it's going to build up your USDT pile as default. If you go into it and you're on the details, and when you go into the parameters on the computer, and then the tabs on the phone too, I'll have to probably buzz Corey to do that again.
I'm actually on my phone.
Perfect. Let me see if I could see it.
I'm not seeing. So if I'm able to share my screen, I can just
Oh,
show
if you could
you.
share, yeah, if you could share yours, shoot, go ahead. I'll try to walk you through it.
Okay.
So you want to unshare
Yeah,
yours then real quick.
Let me unshare mine real fast. Sorry, I got stop share.
yeah. Even if you could, Phyllis, walk through setting up a bot, that would be great too.
Okay, I can do that.
Awesome.
You should be able to share.
Share. Okay.
Okay,
And maybe while she's doing that, Dean asked, how do you close out a bot of all positions to start a new one?
so on the more tab, you hit stop bot, and it'll bring up the how do you want to sell? First, we'll say please sell. Well, this one hasn't all the way set up yet, so that's why it's not telling you. But the option that'll come up is do you want it to stop and hold what it has? Because once it's running and if it's already an established bot, you have a pile of TXC and you have a pile of USDT. So you can stop the bot and just keep your piles as is, and all the orders will cancel, and you hold your USDT and you hold your TXC. If you want to stop it and sell, you can it'll sell all your USDT and give you all USDT. And then it'll close out slowly. It won't just drop. Like you'll see, it could take anywhere from, I think I've seen 20 or 10 to 30 seconds is kind of what it says, but it goes through and it tries to get you the best price that it can to fill as quickly as it can. So it's not a straight market order, but it will sell and chase the fill price. But yeah, you can go into the more tab, stop bot. It'll give you two options: USDT only, which is selling every TXE you have, or just cancel the orders and hold it how you have it.
Where's the more tab?
You're on the phone? Excuse me.
I'm on the phone.
Did your screen not pop up?
Do you not see my screen?
No,
No.
you probably have to swipe it over.
Let me.
Well, no, you're not. Nobody's sharing. You're not sharing.
Okay, let me do it again. I was sharing. Let me do it again. Share. Screen. Start.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay, so you pop that up. So do me one favor and just hit the little back arrow to go back out so I can kind of walk everybody through it right away. So when you go down now, scroll down a little bit to where it gives you the options, and you're going to go into detail. And this is showing you what you have right now. So as you set those, all of those are your buy orders that you have set. You have 29 buy orders set, and because you've already bought TXC on the right side, those are all your sell prices that are set up to sell. And you see that you'll make 2%, or how far it has to go to fill it. And with the price goes up 2%, your first sell will fill. Price goes up 4%, your second sell will fill. So that's how your orders are going to take. Transaction tab on the top is what has already happened in the last 24 hours, the total history, and the average trades per day is what that's showing you. And then the parameter tab is what we're looking for on how to edit. So first things first, on the bottom above your stop bot is the reinvest profits automatically. You'll check that tab if you want it to do that. So as it makes money per trade, the next trade it has more profit, it can now buy more TXC, and that's going to give you the accumulation as you build up a bigger pile. So you'll ideally, if it works right, most of these anywhere from 40 to 100 grids should, as price moves, it's not promised, but should most likely accumulate at least one TXC a week. Is kind of one whole TXC coin a week is kind of what I've seen from the different parameters that I've seen in the volume that we have. So at least one a week, I think, is what I was seeing. But so then you have your option right there: take profit, stop loss, trigger price. So if you want to set your take profit to the same as your upper limit, just go right there in the little highlighted tab where you want to set that price and click and just do the same 4.444 or 4.4, wherever you want it at, and then confirm. And that'll mean that once it goes into that, instead of just pausing, it'll actually sell the TXC into that upper limit. And then you're set.
Sell the TXC into the upper limit.
Yep. So when it hits that upper limit, you'll end up with USDT. If you don't have a take profit on it, it'll just pause and it'll hold TXC and you'll hold your USDT and it just won't trade anymore. It'll pause. And when you get one that's paused, when you go back and it has all your list of bots, there'll be a little yellow highlighted tab above it that tells you it's paused. If you ever see if the price ever goes beyond one of your limit ranges, you'll get a little warning tab right above. It'll be like, well, it won't show on yours because you don't have them, but basically right where it says TXC USDT grid trading bot, right above that there'll be a little yellow highlight and it'll say this bot is paused for the price break, whatever. I don't remember what it says, but that'll be an indicator that the bot's not active. It'll tell you it's not active. If it looks just like that, your bot's active and it's moving. Just needs the price to actually happen. The orders are at least set for you.
Okay. Can you explain so again, I was following along and I was doing as you did.
Yeah,
So
that's
100
good.
grids versus 40 grids. What's the difference?
So yeah, let me hop. Can I steal and I'll get my do I get to replace? Kick you out? Screen one.
Let me stop.
Over the shoulder. I like that one better. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so just think of grids as orders. It's just their weird verbiage that they're trying to use for you. So the grids are all of these on an order book. These would be considered like a grid. So on your bot that you have running, on the parameter on placed orders, I'm sorry, these are all your grids. So this is going to add up. We set this one up with 100 grids, 29 buy orders, and because we own a bunch, what is that? 52. So it's slacking a little bit because that's only 81 total. This is 81 total grids. If you add up the buy orders and the sell orders, it's going to operate within a range close to 100. It's not always going to be exactly 100. It's probably going to be most likely between 90 and 100 because it's always going to hold some USDT back for if the price comes down. But based on how these prices will fill, because some of these sell orders will fill and some of these buy orders will fill, you'll typically operate as it builds the recognition of the chart and the flow and everything. At most, you'll have 100 total, and you'll be in a range around 100 of basically orders set up to accumulate and all. Holy crap, I opened up a whole bunch of stuff clicking around. Yeah, grids are basically just orders.
So you want, doing 40, does that give you more profit? I mean, what's the benefit of doing more than less?
Yeah. So when you're doing the smaller grid, like a 10 or 20 or something in that range, the spread between each grid, so when it'll place an order, it's going to look for bigger percent. So the price will have to move a lot more in between those orders to fill. So it'll capture a higher percent, but the price has to move a higher percent to create the action. When you do the 50 or 40 or 100 or 200 grids, and get up there in the higher grids, it's going to create a lot more frequency because they're only making 70 cents or 10 or 20 cents per trade. There's a minimum that it has to make, so it's not getting eaten up by fees. But it's hitting a lot more in that higher volume. So if it hits 15 trades before that other one made one, even though it only made 1% per trade, the other one made 15% total. If there was ever a move up where price also comes down and then it remade the move up, you probably accumulated more coins than what you started with. It'd be the same as like if you were to buy, if you bought at $1 and then sold at $1.50, you made 50 cents. But if the price went from $1 to $1.10 to $1.05 to $1.15 to $1.05 to $1.20 to $1.10, went back and forth, and you made trades every single piece along the way, you accumulated more coins over there. So then when the price is $1.50, not, you don't have just that one, that one anymore. You probably have like two or so. So then your profit is multiplied based on the accumulation that you've got over the time. So that's where higher grids will work out as long as the price is moving fluidly up and down, up and down, up and down, and then goes up. If the price just goes from 1 to 150 to 2 and just skips like that, that's where lower grids would work. But that's why running two kind of gets both, and you don't miss out on the fun.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Good question.
Hey, any other questions?
I know Corey asked, and I can set up another bot. I'd like to set one up with fewer grids if you want to walk through
You
that.
want to walk through it? You want to hop
Yeah.
off? Here.
Yeah.
I'll let you share.
Okay.
Plus, we can see it on the phone for the others that are on the phone.
There you go.
Okay. So I started with USDC.
Correct. You have USDC. Did you already convert it?
Yeah, and I went to I think it was buy sell, and then I hit that convert.
Perfect.
And I converted my USDC to USDT.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Also, if you ever get commission, that's what you would do, because you'll receive your commission in USDC, then you have to come over and switch it to USDT before trading on it. So
okay. All right. So
we're going to create on your top left, and then it gives you all the different ones. I'll just kind of touch on these. Some of the other fun ones. A martingale bot. Basically, what it does is it's going to set up a double down every time the price drops. If you've ever gambled, it's when you lose one bet, you double it and try to get your money back, kind of thing. That's what the martingale bot does. It does its first buy, it buys one coin at this price, and then if when the price goes down, then it buys two coins at the lower price, and then it buys four coins at the other price. So that's what that bot does. A rebalancing bot would be as if you're trying to do two or three coins at the same time, and say you want to have 60 of one, 30 or 60% of one, 30% of one, and 10% of another. What it'll do is anytime one profits, it'll take the profit from that one and then buy more of the one that's losing. So you would balance. So if somebody was trying to do like Bitcoin and TXC and have them balance 50-50, it would go back and forth, moving the money between the two on those. And then the other one, an infinity grid, is just that you need a lot of money to set that up, and that means that it'll just always be running with a ton of cells. The reverse grid bot is if you start with TXC. If somebody wanted to start or already had a pile of TXC, this would probably be a good one for somebody who is looking to sell some of their mined coins that they have and looking to sell a bunch at a time without blowing out the market. You would set up a reverse grid, and it would sell into the market over grids instead of trying to do all one limit order and sitting at the top end price and then maybe not filling for a week. But also not doing a market sell where it'll just blast through the buy orders. You could set it up to do that sell on a grid pattern to kind of break in. And then the trailing bots are something completely different, more on a trading side. And then that one's geared around Bitcoin, and the TWAP is one for big money as well. Similar to the Infinity Grid, but just a different name. So for what you're gonna do is you're gonna go back up to the grid trading bot, and then customize, because you already set up the higher grid one. So now I would set up your lower price range the same, $1 or $1.10 or $1.20. kind of anywhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
And then because this one is going to be that lower grid count, and we don't mind if the price kind of goes over the top end, for this one, maybe set like 7, in case it does, run up to that next range on the path to 16 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then for your grid quantity, you could pick, I would do at least 10. Doing less than 10 would be weird, but anywhere from 10 to 15, 10 to 20, kind of whatever number you want. I did 11 on mine, but 10's a good number, 15's a good number, 12 is a good number. And then you go down to your investment fund, how much you want to put in there. You have to do at least $30, but you can do as much as you want. Cool. And then you scroll down a little bit. On the advanced settings, you'll hit unfold, which will bring that tab down. And on the take profit one, we'll click on that one. And then set that with your upper limit was 711. Oh, thank heaven for 711.
7-11. Okay.
Yep. Boom. And then confirm. And then create. It's going to tell you that the initial startup, we're going to run into about 86.8% holding of TXC, and you'll be sitting on 13% of that. That $100 will be sitting back in case the price comes down. So you hit OK, and boom, got a little buy going on. Thanks for bringing the price up a little bit. It's fighting. Last time we did this, we raised the price like 15 cents.
Mm-hmm.
As a group, everybody jumped in there and created a bunch of volume. But boom, you're all set and rolling.
So what are we looking? So this is my
So what
first.
you're okay, on your screen, what you're looking at is a good little example. So the grid profit is how much it's accumulated so far. The holding profit is what you've accumulated, what you've made so far. And right now we haven't made anything yet. The grid total accumulated, or the grid / total accumulated, that is your percent profit of what you've made. All those are just kind of showing you how much you're making so far, and how much is being held and how much is in the grid once it's filled. This one's not all the way established yet, so those numbers aren't really, you have to give it at least a kind of a data to decide that. But the next row of information on that, the 24H / total transactions, the first number that it's going to give you before that slash is how many trades have been made in the last 24 hours. And then the second number is how many total transactions it's made since you started the bot.
Let me look at the other one. The first one, it says 1.
It's already done a transaction. So yeah, you had 1 in the last 24 hours, 1 total. And so then that shows you that based on this, on what you have in the grid, and based on the timing that we're flowing with that, you're expecting to make 338% profit.
Nice. On this second bot, that reinvestment, I don't recall.
To set that up?
Yeah.
On the way. So I believe we got to go down a little bit, and then it's in your detail section. And then so those are the orders that are sitting in the grid waiting to be filled. You've already bought, you're holding 41.2057 TXC right now with that. And then you have $14.51 in USDT that is there to buy more if the price comes down. And you have 2 buys, 9 sell orders set. And then so what you'll do is you'll go over to your parameter tab right underneath details. And then your reinvest profits is right on the bottom. So that way, as long as it's bouncing up and down along the way, you're hopefully going to accumulate a couple more TXC along the way, and then you'll get bigger profit once it hits that $7 range. And then you're all set.
Okay.
Now we just need some of the price action to go up and build. Once these get over 350, I think you'll see a lot bigger snowball action rolling down the hill. You know, we've been relying on the market makers being funded on, you know, on Bitmart and MEXC and Biconomy, and some of the other exchanges that have been lacking. And it's really cool seeing on the, you know, I'm gonna jump on and take
I'm gonna stop my share.
yeah, I'm
You
gonna hop
explain
on.
market. I mean, I think I know, but for those who don't, and to make sure I understand, what is a market maker? Who is a market maker, and what do they do?
So yeah, what they are is it's a third party company, basically. So like Pionex has that bot built into it, and allows us to use it. There's third party bots you can go on, and there's tons of algorithmic trading, automatic trading, bot trading. Buy my program, whether a subscription or buy at once, and all those guys, and then you can utilize it across the exchanges. I'm gonna take mine off just because I don't want to make this all complicated. Those are itchy moto something clouds, and we don't need those. Let me take it off right here. I'm sorry. Delete. That's just gonna cloud all this up. Remove. Um, so what they do is there's a balance ratio between the pairing coin, so USDT or USDC, depending on the exchange, in the market in order to make buy orders, and then the coins have to be in the market as well in order to create the sell orders. So a market maker is looking at these order books on the exchanges, and there's a certain amount. I don't know if I could see a better one. I think Bitmart has a good one. Let me hop on Bitmart real quick. Trade spot. That was not where I wanted to go. Stop it. Trade spot. We don't want to look at them. We want to look at TXC. So on this order book, you can see that 94.5% of the orders are buys and 5% of the orders right now are sells. It's been a long time that we've been behind this, where it's been the opposite ratio. So there is a lot more buying pressure right now. So as a market maker, you would be telling the coin, hey, we need to make sure we have enough coins on our books to fill these orders. So if there's not if the people and the users that are using it don't have that many placed, the market maker has to have enough to kind of fill and balance. So as you'll see on these different ones that have different volumes, that's the different levels of activity. Look at this. Pionex is up here at the top, making me happy. Seeing, to me, the Pionex one doesn't have a market maker. So to me, this is the most or the best representation of community that's starting to buy that wasn't from the original. I know a lot of people started on Dex Trade, but it's easy to take a third party bot or third party accumulation. And plus, there's a lot of TXC's done some of their fulfillment in there. So I'm waiting for this one to go away. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked. But they need to balance this out. So if they'll ask for more coins, if there's too much selling going on, they need to be able to fill those orders. They need USDC or USDT based on that pairing. There's a ratio balance that needs to be held by the exchange to fulfill orders, and that is provided in liquidity from the coin. So yeah, basically a market maker is just making sure that the order book is going to be filled and sustained. You know, they want the orders to be filled. So right now we have a lot of buys. So they're going to be, if they don't have enough coins on their book sitting to hold, that's when they're going to go look for more coins on other exchanges. It's called arbitrage, or they'll cross exchange to fulfill the orders, or they're going to be knocking on or calling Bobby saying, hey, we need more TXC. We have too many buy orders. And the market maker that Texacoin is using, Bobby mentioned that they are being used on MEXC and Bitmart, which of all the exchanges, they rank them. CoinMarketCap is one of the big kind of uh, you know, judge, jury, and executioners of the crypto world. And they rank all of these exchanges based on the liquidity that they have, based on the volume that they use, the amount of users that are using them, the reserves that they have on hand to justify the amount of money that's being used on the exchange, and all the and other a bunch of other variables too. Mexi and Bitmart are considered the two highest ranked of what TXE is on. Um, and so that's where I think the market maker is focusing on those two. And then Biconomy. And it's using Biconomy because it's one of the ones that uses USDC. XT also uses USDC, but it just chose Biconomy. Um, and so what they're doing is they're just making sure that orders are being placed, and then also anytime you see a big difference in price, that's called arbitrage. And those market makers and stuff that are out there using bots and looking at it, because right now $1.90 on XT and $1.80 on Biconomy. Well, I'll sell my coins on it for $1.90 and I'll buy them for 180. That's arbitrage. Obviously, you have to do the transfer. There's fees and there's all that. That's not a big enough price to try to go chase that. But the market makers and the bots will fill that to balance it because they want this. They want to see all of them be 180 to 182 and be similar. They don't want to see one at $1 and one at $2 and people running around back and forth chasing and doing that. I would suggest not chasing it because a lot of times those big price differences are one, either delayed because they're not always instantly reported, but two, it could be because one order like this, the 3 at 175 and then 171 at 168, and then it's three, or these are all three, but sometimes you'll see one there, it's only like three here, and then like 100 will be stacked on top of it. So you think that you're running in to get an order and it's really not there. It's only one coin. So you transfer your funds back and forth to chase, a dollar. Not worth it most of the time, unless you have money on
Well,
both
thank you.
exchanges.
That was a great explanation. I totally get it now. So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I know I bounced a couple times, but yeah, basically they're just making sure that the orders are being filled and that there's action.
Hey, Lonnie, can
Yep.
you just kind of for everyone? I know we started this. You've done one already this week, and we started this kind of last week with you and Jeremy. But for everyone that's either on this for the first time or has been on these, can you just kind of sum up? Like you got excited yesterday when you and I were talking about how when we started this, the Pionex, there was such a great uptick in Pionex and the
Oh
exchange
yeah.
and the movement. Can you just kind of wrap that up, like how important that is for us that are in Texas and what that means to the exchanges and kind of just the difference that we've made as a prospectively like smaller group of people and what this and
Yeah.
how this so if you can just wrap that part.
Yeah. I'll hit that again. So I've been following on CoinMarketCap. It gives you all the exchanges and these average volumes. When you go back, not long ago, I mean, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, I don't remember exactly. It wasn't crazy long ago, but the average daily volume on Pionex was only between like 8 and 14,000. There was a couple times where like I closed a bot and created a bot, and I was a substantial amount alone with less than $500 making an impact on the volume where it would show like that. So it's crazy to see how much the volume has upticked on this one without any market maker, without TXE. And Pionex, I know I targeted. I think it's mostly because the how easy it is to use. It's a U.S. friendly exchange, and the bots is a great platform to be able to help continue it. And that liquidity being continuously there is what's going to create the support down the road for the day that comes when everybody has a goal that they want to be able to sell their mine coins or want to be able to go into their mine coins and sell some. And if there's not that liquidity and not enough volume consistency, you see how like $200 will drop the price 2%. Right now on most of these. And so the price will drop drastically on small orders, and you're not going to be able to sell $1,000 worth of coins unless there's a built-in stair step. And going back to where Coin Market Cap ranks these exchanges and is watching these exchanges, Dextrade and Pikel, and I think this one too, just because they're not reporting their reserve data, I'm assuming, and they have these little check marks. Those are tier 3 exchanges. So Coin Market Cap gets, their some of their order book, and it's not always accurate. It's not always up to date, and they don't have a reserve saying that they can justify the orders. They're fully dependent on being provided the liquidity they can't fulfill on their own. Then you go into tier 2, which is the Mexi, the Bitmart, Pionex is on that, Jew.com, I believe, is on that, Biconomy and XT. These guys are much more trusted exchanges, and Coin Market Cap takes them and puts them in a higher prestige because they're reporting more numbers and reporting more data. And when Coin Market Cap is going through the cryptos, they need that data because they are verifying projects. So when a cryptocurrency comes on the scene, they judge the wallet holders, they judge who's trading it, they judge the actions, and they judge all that. And when they put their stamp of approval basically on it, and they're verifying a project, they're verifying that it's not a risky investment to come into. So by being unverified on CoinMarketCap, you're not going to see outside crypto players wanting to come park their money in the people. They're not going to invest in it because it's an unverified project. To somebody who has no clue, who's browsing CoinMarketCap or is browsing Google, and you look at the amount of holders and transactions because it's not reported enough and there's not enough activity where CoinMarketCap has verified it. For all I know, it's 10 guys in a band and they're kicking hot potato on the coin, waiting for somebody to come in and put money and then run away with the money. It looks like a rug pull or an unverified project. So by communities coming on and getting the Pionex and the other exchanges some liquidity and action, that shows more wallet holders. It shows more consistency. You want to see this 2% depth. You want it to be 5,000. You want to see a full order book where it's going to take, if I wanted to go in there and I wanted to park $10,000 because I thought this was a good project to go up, and then a month later I'm like, oh, I got a big credit card bill. My truck broke down or whatever. And I want to go back and I need to get some money. For me to get $10,000, I'm gonna lose money on this because I can't get it out now. Where if it's a fluid fund, this 2% depth will be built up because there's a lot more orders, and I'm hoping that I'm going to make money too because there's people in there. So one of the things that new money will come in from the outside when they see this is the price being back closer to $5 will be safer for them, and they'll like that because of that magical number. But a full volume, consistent volume, and consistent order book depth. And so if you're not able to, frequently place the orders, that's where, leaning on the bots, creating that stability in the price makes it appealing for outside money. Some of these Bitcoin millionaires or Ethereum millionaires who are making money over there, and they have extra money that they've been making. They like putting it in new crypto projects. And if the only liquidity that's provided to TXC is from TXC's mine sales and from the miners, it's a closed system. But if it's an appealing system because it has that strong order book and the strong volume and strong consistency, well then all of a sudden some of those bigger money players will come in and fill in the pool. So think of a pond versus a lake. You want to have a lake built up of liquidity where there's streams running into it, where there's constant money coming into it, because then that thing will never dry up. When you have a pond, eventually it dries up when it goes into a drought kind of thing. So we want to be appealing to the outside liquidity. You have to be a strong volume body of water kind of thing to make a liquidity pool metaphor.
I think Mark's got his hand up, and then we'll try to get the chat questions zipped out too. Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, Lonnie, I typed it in there, but I wanted to clarify it, and that is, so as a community, what can we do daily, weekly, and monthly in Pionex to help that number to grow? Is it $100 a month? Would that work, or is it 200? What's the deal?
Well, so I can't tell you exactly what to do on that, but as a suggestion of what could grow, I mean, anything helps. It's that we're so early into this project that it is. I mean, $5 a day could help. $100 a week would help. $50 a week would help. If you skip Starbucks every day and bought TXC on any of these exchanges, that would help. And that consistency on a community standard, you look at something like if we're only dependent on the big money players, the big whales and such, 50 of them have to contribute $10,000 to put in a big chunk of money, where 50,000 people don't have to put in as much money and it can create a big impact. So, even like a good as you're bringing this onto somebody new and they're going to look at something and if their first trigger is, well, I'm only getting half a coin or less than half a coin a day, be like, well, great, this is a great opportunity. Here's what we'll do. Well, if you come in with $1,200 instead of the $900, here I'm going to set you up this wallet on Pionex, so you have your USDC, USDT, and they already know how to. Now they're familiar with crypto. Boom, send your USDC off and go buy your miner package. Hey, you have this leftover pile of money right here. Let's get you action. You could either set up a bot and it'll make the trades for you, and you can show them how yours is going, or hey, every now and then just buy some TXT. Look how easy it is to buy and sell, and then you have coins. You boom, you already are sitting there with 100 coins or 200 coins or however many coins based on the price, and then they already have a connection of value to the project. And then as it goes up, they're not as turned off by looking at, hey, it's been a week and I only have 2 coins or 3 coins. Hey, I have 200 coins. Look at this. They'll be attached to that number. And then down the line, as the price kind of recovers, price is going up, and that mining is coming in consistently. They look in and they're like, shoot, I got 200 coins in my trading wallet, and I got 20 coins over here. This is awesome. I have 250 coins. Now they have a big number to brag about instead of I have 5 coins.
Thank you.
Yeah, anything helps really at an early stage like this. Really, anything helps.
So Dean was asking about difference in pricing on
Lonnie,
Pionex.
Oh,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
Whoever was talking, is that Frank?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hi, Lonnie. This is Frank. My wife was on the Facebook with you last night. We have been trading on Pionex for the last week, and we're sort of confused on a
Sure.
couple of things. How do I share my screen with you?
Are you on your phone or on the computer?
Phone.
On
Hit
the
share.
phone? Yeah. Should be.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
co-hosted
Hold
it.
on, let me turn mine off. I gotta turn mine off first. I didn't know I was still sharing.
Microsoft, Google. Oh, now see. It's giving me a bunch of things here. I don't know. I don't know how to share my Pionex screen with you.
Okay, there's on your Zoom is a green button at the bottom.
1 second, I lost you. No, I'm looking at you, Tom.
Okay. So on the bottom of your Zoom page, if you're on the phone or on the
Yeah,
computer, I
yeah.
made you a co-host, so there should be a big green share button right in the middle.
Uh, it's pulling up Microsoft Drive and points like that.
Okay, on your Zoom
All right.
is where you would
Thomas personal meaning Zoom.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the bottom should be a share button and it should be marked in green.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. Anyway, Lonnie,
Okay.
Yeah.
we invested $455 last last Friday.
Nice.
It said that through the course of today that Pionex made 7-day balance change was 267.72 and then 134%. But in all actuality, I only seen like $10 in my in the change in my balance. Went from 455 to 467. What did I do wrong in that? Was I not capturing my profit and letting it, was it moving up and down on me?
So, I mean, it depends what one you're looking at. If you're looking at if you were looking at the holdings profit percent, the arbitrage total, and which is kind of like your projected. So, if you're looking at the one based on how it was going, it tries to show you what you're going to get if you leave this for a whole year of action on what the projected is.
Okay.
And the holdings part is, you know, based on the TXC that you have that hasn't sold yet. When that's in profit, then you're going to have a holdings P&L, and then you're going to have the total profit. So it kind of depends. There's three different numbers that it's showing you. Kind of a forecasted one of if you leave this for a year, what is on the books to be captured but hasn't captured yet, and then what you actually have, that total arbitrage profit, what you actually have that's been captured. And that's kind of if everything, like if you pause the bot, if it stopped, boom, that's what you have. So they're fluid numbers. I don't know if you saw when we were doing on the with Phyllis, or if when I was doing it, if you have your auto reinvest in, you're automatically going to be accumulating more coins. If you don't have that tab selected, it is automatically trading and building in your USDT pile and trying to keep your original TXC amount kind of set. So
That's what it seemed it was doing.
yeah,
I mean,
so
I didn't.
you probably saw your holdings. You're probably, as the price was going up, I'm going to guess it was most likely your holdings that was up that much. And then as the price came back down, it obviously dropped because that holdings was not captured yet. That was just the potential of what could have been captured at that price had you closed it. And it also had to sold. It would have also had to all sell at that price. And if you look at the order book on these, a lot of times, you're not going to fill more than like right now. I think the quantities, a lot of these are only 3 to 8 coins per price filled. So you want to, if you have 50 coins, you also got to realize that the price is going to come down to fill that full order until this pool gets bigger and until it gets more established, where there's each order or each grid on that block is going to have 50 coins or 100 coins. So that price is a lot more cemented, and when you do try to capture your profit, or when your bot does try to fulfill that order, it doesn't get bogged down by by a lack of orders behind you.
Okay. But I want to try something here. Mike, I'm into the grid trading, and what I did was I closed out the one that I had, so that I can be able to walk through this with you.
You want to set up a new one?
I'm gonna try to. It's a pain in the butt here trying to. I'm not really technical savvy, and I'm keep losing you on the Zoom on you. But
so you're on a phone, you said, right?
Yep.
So and you're in the grid bot trading tab.
Yeah.
And then up in the top, it should say create.
Yeah. I'm.
You're already there.
Yeah. TXC. What I got to do though is I have to change my everything is in USDT right now.
Perfect. That's perfect. So you're in the grid trading bot tab, right?
Yes.
And then you open it up, it's going to automatically show you the copy strategy. Remember when I talked about those, how it uses ChatGPT as suggestions. Let's
Yep.
just set you up on a custom one, just to um, show you the
All
process
right.
kind of thing. So on your
Okay.
price range,
Custom.
you're set. Yep, you're uncustomized.
Yep.
It shows you price range, quantity of grids, and investment, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So in your price range, what you're setting is the range that you want the bot to be active in. So if it goes below the lower, it pauses. Oh, my dogs are getting antsy.
Yeah.
If it goes above, I'm gonna say hi. If it goes above the upper, it pauses. And when it pauses,
Right.
it doesn't sell. What it's doing is it's just holding. So if you have at the time of whenever you do it, if you have 100 TXC and you have $100 of USDT, it just pauses and is done, and it will hold that until you tell it what to do otherwise. Um, so so that's kind of to protect you if there's like a sudden move in the price down or a sudden move in the price up. So for your
All right.
price range on the
What?
lower side,
Yep.
I personally did $1.11, but anywhere between $1.20 based on our current price levels is what I would set that at. Kind of
Okay.
your pick.
Yeah.
And then on your
This is the
upper
thing that, go ahead. I'm sorry.
then your upper price range, your higher price,
Yeah.
based on the path to 16, which was supposed to be 530, we had some action at 550. That's why I picked 550 as kind of a good range to settle in before a price discovery. And you can always start a new one later. But I suggest 550 because that is we already have confirmed trades in that level, and there won't be an erratic price up to that level.
Okay.
So you're kind of lower is going to be like 1 or 150. Your upper range is going to be 5 or 550 kind of thing. And then the important piece is the quantity of grids. Are you wanting to do the ones that doesn't trade as often and catches the bigger moves? It's going to sit a lot more, but if the price ever spikes, you're going to capture a bigger profit and you're going to be reliant on those big swings. Or do you want to do the one that is much more high frequency? It's going to be much more active and it's going to fill in a lot more orders and it's more likely going to accumulate more TXC over the runtime. So it's kind of your preference point or preference decision that you want to do. So you'll either pick by 10 or 20 or 50 or 100, kind of depending on how much you want to do. The more grids you do, though, the more money that you have to allocate to the bot, just as a reminder.
Okay. It's
Less
offering me
less grids will be less
211.
active. Oh, go ahead.
It's offering me 211 grids.
Sure, that's a big one. You could do that.
I'm going to take, because that's a safe bet and it'll keep
Yeah,
moving the
it'll be
market.
very active. Yep, it's going to do a lot of trading.
It's offering me at a $1.22 per trade, I think, or a buck. What's that investment? A $1.22.
You got to do at least 122 USDT for that many grids. Yeah, you could do as much
Okay.
as you want, though.
Yeah. No, I have to. I
You just
have
have
to
to do it.
transfer funds because I don't have enough. All my money's in USDT. It says. I don't have any TXC on the
You
account.
don't you don't want to have TXC for the bot. You should have USDT.
Okay, I do, but it's telling me I need TXC plus USDT.
You're in a custom grid bot.
Yeah. And my coins of choice are TXC and USDT.
Yeah. That's right. That's a pairing. So on your grid count, you change that to instead of 211, if you do 150, what does it tell you then?
Hold on. 0 and 0. All right, hold on. I got to put the 122 in.
In the grid count? Yeah.
Yeah. It's telling me I don't have because everything I have is on my balance sheet on my account. Is all USDT. I don't have any TXC. I don't have it split.
Yeah, you want USDT. That's why I'm confused. To start a new grid, you need USDT. So it should be letting you. If it's telling you you don't have you don't have enough TXC, it sounds like you're on a different. I don't know what you're clicking on. I
All
wish I
right,
could
I'll
see.
tell you where I'll start from the beginning. I'm on Grid Trading Bot.
Uh-huh.
I'm
And
over.
you went in a price range and you set the lower and the higher.
Yeah,
And
custom.
then what did you set for your grid quantity?
Uh, hold on. Let me redo it because I canceled it out. 165, 285.
No, you guys.
Grids, 211.
211. And then what did
Yep.
you on the third tab? It's the investment. What did you select for that? How much did you put in?
1.22.
That's not enough for the investment. That's what it's telling you. So if you're doing 211 grids, you have to do at least $502 of USDT. So if you lower your grid count, because didn't you say you had like 420?
I have $467 in USDT, or
Okay, let's see. How many can you
467
do?
USDT.
So go to your quantity of grids and change it to 180.
Yep.
And then on your total investment, if you slide that, you can either slide the bar up to 100%, is what I would do, or you could set in your 480 or 450 or whatever you want to do.
And now it's telling me my thing is $2 for the investment.
It should be more than $2.
Does
All right, well,
does he have his money tied up already in his other bot that he was mentioning?
Yeah, I'm curious. Did you cancel your other bot, or do you still have that one running?
No, it says I have $467 USDT for transferable.
467 is available. So yeah. So on the total investment, enter the number 467.
Hold on, I'm starting over here. Copy bot.
Yep. Lower limit 1, upper limit 5, 180 for the grid count. Or whatever number around about that you want, but about that amount.
Yeah.
And then in the
Well,
total
you said
investment,
$1, then the highest $5. Grids, what'd you say?
so on the the grid count, do 180, 180.
Yep.
And then on your total investment, hit the number 467.
All right.
And then does it let you hit create bot?
It does, but it's not letting me. It says create bot, but right under 467, it said required 0, not enough balance, 0 TXC plus 467 USDT.
And but on from your balance, it shows that you have 467 USDT available. That's
Yep,
not tied to anything. It's free, right?
correct.
And it shows that on your available balance that you have 467.
Yeah.
That's weird. I wish you
All
could
right.
share.
I don't want to
share
waste
your
your
screen.
time,
No,
but
you're good. I'll
when I figure this, when I get past the investment part,
yeah.
and then it goes down to slippage, stop loss,
Yeah,
and
so
take profit.
on that one, the only one that you want to set up is your take profit. Just have your take. I suggest to have your take profit be the same as your upper limit. And that means that instead of your upper limit pausing, it'll actually sell into the upper limit so that you'll actually capture all of that profit.
Okay. Because all I did before was just uh, took profit. I didn't have it take it at the highest point. So that's if it hits that $5 mark. That's what you want. Then it takes it at that,
Then it'll sell. Correct.
And it closes the bot.
Yep. It'll sell it all, and then it'll turn everything that all of the TXC it'll turn into USDT for you.
Okay. Now, a question off the wall. Let me get out of this a second. The other reverse bot.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't you? I mean, I know we want TXC to go up, but couldn't you use that to capture more TXC if it was in a up and down market?
So I haven't actually ran one on the reverse bot because I've been more focusing on buying and acquiring. But
well, that's what I was thinking, that maybe that the reverse bot could acquire the crypto, like if say it's at the 207, but it keeps bouncing down to 185. And I'm not sure how the reverse spot works, but I thought that it would require more in that type of situation if it wasn't going in a bull market.
So yeah, it'll the reverse is the same thing as the grid. It just starts with TXC instead of starting with USDT. So it's just another, but it just depends if you have USDT to start or if you have TXC to start as your um funds.
Money.
Otherwise, they're the same
Right.
thing.
Okay. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Frank, that was awesome. A lot of good information was transpired in that little short period of time. In lieu of time, though, guys, we are at eight. We are at an hour and a half now, and so it is. I always say when my tailbone starts to hurt, it's time to go. And then I also hear some dogs whining on the other side there.
Yeah.
So I
They're
got
not
two. I
happy.
got two sitting over here staring at me too, Lonnie. But really, really, really great stuff today and great information. Tomorrow, Jeremy Whaley is going to be. I hope I'm saying his last name correct. He's going to be with us, and he says he's got some great stuff going into the rest of the holiday. Guys, here's what I've decided to do with next week. And then and Lonnie, first of all, we want to say thank you very, very much, and I'll let everybody say thank you. Um, but let's use Tuesday as a time to tell everybody Merry Christmas and to get any questions answered going in to the holidays. And then let's take the rest of the week off until the second. And then I'll either put out for the second or the following Tuesday. And then I'm gonna pray about if we're gonna do 4 days going into the new year, or use some of those days maybe for something different because we're gonna blast off like crazy in January. January, we are going to smoke the expansion of Texas Coin in every single way possible. So I'm going to take a little bit of time this week to do some real prayer about how many days we want to do this call. If you have any input, text me. If you want 4 days still, if you're liking what we're doing, or if you want three, or you want two, or whatnot. I'm going to do as much as I can because I'm actually going to, for sure, be doing a lot more presentations during the day to give everybody multiple opportunities in that for presentations along with trainings. So to openly say Tuesday, get everybody on here. Let's have a celebration Tuesday. Let's get everybody's questions answered. Let's everybody bark at Lonnie's dogs so that no. they're getting them. So Tuesday, let's have a little celebration on here. 7 a.m. celebration tomorrow. Again, Jeremy just got done texting back and forth with him, so we're excited about that. Lonnie, you have been a pleasure. All of you teachers for this year have been absolutely wonderful and absolutely incredible since we've been doing this a little over a month now. 4 days a week that we've been giving value, and I sure appreciate everybody. But we'll show some more appreciation. Maybe we'll give a few things away, some coin away and stuff on Tuesday. Who knows what we'll do? I think we'll give away all of Andrea's coin on Tuesday. No, I'm just kidding. But we love you guys. If you have any ideas going into the new year, I'm open for suggestions. The last vote for when we voted to continue to the end of the year was 4 days. Everybody wanted still. So feel free to fill me in on that. So also, watch your WhatsApp stream, watch your team streams for any announcements going and coming. Because next week, there'll be things that we will have and we won't have. I do believe Coach Bud is doing a training tonight. If I believe that's what he said last week. But if he's on here, maybe he could tell us. Watch for all of that. Other than that, everybody give Lonny some love and let's have an awesome day, okay?